Good evening, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing
Good
good. How are
evening.
you?
Oh, don't all jump at the same time. I still need one of you alive. I'm good, man. Nice to see you, Klein. Nice to hear you, Hein. It's been an interesting day. The weather's changed on this side. Definitely been a nice day. I mean, we're so used to this shitty weather. It's a pleasure to have the sun. I'm sure you don't feel the same way, Klein, with your winter blanket out.
Yeah, now you can see how I'm dressed. Winter has come quick and fast. We just experienced about 4 days of rain straight. I'm not
Yeah,
sure because I'm in the winelands if it's a bit colder the side, but it is chilly out there. I was a bit under the weather as well yesterday, so I'm not sure if I sound a bit nasally. Please forgive me, viewers. But we here. 90% of success is showing up. So I'm
that's
here
right. That's right.
ready to engage and communicate with you guys and connect. How's it going, Hein? How's your day been?
Hein is a little preoccupied, but I'm sure he's doing good. And you know what? I have to bring this up. Football. What's your take?
Wow, wow. I must say, what an interesting topic tonight. I think that there's so much going on social media and in the world news with this Man City having this resurrection type title race. It's been very interesting to see how things have been unfolding. Lots of roasting going on, I must say, and that makes it a bit fun, but I suppose not fun for the Arsenal fans.
Hey man, we're not laughing on this side, right? We've been pushing Arsenal down for a bit, and this just in, they fired the Chelsea manager, so Liam is gone. Um, I there's mixed feelings about that. I'll definitely voice my opinion, but I'm first gonna wait for the Arsenal roast, to be honest.
Okay, we be patient with the roasting tonight because there's going to be plenty.
What's
I
your point
I
of
was
view, Hein?
thinking about this Chelsea bus, man. Like, I haven't heard about him before he managed Chelsea. And I mean, he's done such a poor job, man. I'm surprised they didn't fire him sooner. But I mean, I looked at the last results of you guys. Besides that 7-0 win against Port Vale, it's just been tragedy after tragedy.
You
I
know,
should be asking you, as a Chelsea supporter, what do you think?
I jumped the gun there trying to save Chelsea, and I have to agree with you this time. He came out of nowhere, and the only reason we all do know him before he landed was because he was at our sister club, which is called Strasbourg. It's in League One, and he's been doing an amazing job there. We've sent all our new players that we've bought, and all the young and youth players over there, and they got amazing development. And look, if you look at the history of the French league, we've gotten a lot of our brilliant players and legendary players from the French league. But it's a different kettle of fish when you throw a manager from there into the deep end of the Premier League. So we knew about him. He came from Strasbourg. Chelsea owns 40% of it, and we thought it's a good shuffle. And everyone in the back of their minds, it was addressing the elephant in the room. We knew he wasn't ready for that big challenge, but yet they signed him on, and that goes towards the directors of the club. This is on them. This is on them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are there any news about who's going to be the next manager? Or
Yes, they are. Look, we're looking at many names. Obviously, people would want guys like Frank Lampard in. I'm not saying that because he's one of my favorite players, but let's put that aside. He's done an amazing job every time he sets foot into the championship.
Mm.
From Derby right now to Coventry, he's just brought everyone back back into the Premier League. He's doing a good job. He won't leave that. I think this time out, it's our loss. We won't come back to Chelsea anytime soon because he's been there on two accounts. One as a manager, came back as interim manager, and now he's doing well again. I don't think he's going to leave his post. I've got another name on the list, and that could be Fabregas. He's been doing an amazing job. And then last but not least, and there's many more, but I'll work on these three, would be Alonso. I would like to see Alonso there. I think it could be a good buy.
I think Liverpool will have a argument there for Alonso, right? Because they
Definitely,
really want him, yeah. You know, I was actually thinking about Frank Lampard, right? I think Chelsea in the first time did not give him enough time because he set such good foundations, right? And then I think what was the next manager that came in after him?
After Frank, I don't know it off by heart.
I'm trying
Was
to
it
remember. But then they
Tuchel?
came and they won the Champions League, right? Was it Tuchel?
Tuchel? Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah.
Thomas
Okay.
Tuchel might have been the manager
Yeah.
in. I have to check my facts on that.
And the next manager came in and won the Champions League. What was it?
Tuchel.
2022, right? Was it 22, 21? One of
22.
those years, right?
One
22.
of those, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he actually set good foundations. So it might not
Well,
be bad to go
yes.
back in.
Here's news that just hit the internet an hour ago. They're looking at Andoni. I'm struggling to pronounce his surname. Araola.
Areola.
Yeah,
Areola.
Areola. He has 7-4 odds. Says Fabregas with 11-2 odds. Marco Silva with 6-1 odds. And then we're looking at Felipe Luis.
Felipe Luis, yeah.
Yeah, at 7-1, and Frank Lampard at 10-1. So the odd looks
Yeah.
on Frank's side.
I think what could happen there, if I could butt incline, and this is just a wild projection, it could be Felipe Luis, because what happened was before Liam stepped in, I know he was contacted, but he was in South America, and then it was behind closed doors. And what happened was the club he was coaching found out about that, and he was let go immediately after that because he was discussing behind their backs. But laws of the FA and FIFA compared to the laws of the Brazilian leagues quite different. So I think that's why that didn't hit mainstream media as hard, because one wasn't breaching any contract of any sort. He could come back. Obviously, he was really good at Atletico Madrid, and then came to Chelsea. We were strong. You know, he had people like Hazard to feed the ball into, and he spent 1 season, 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons, and then went back to Atletico and finished his career. He could be a good manager to give that samba and Brazilian flair with the amount of Brazilian players we have.
Yeah, 100%. We look forward to what Chelsea's new plans are. Definitely makes for an interesting new season coming up.
But let's address that elephant in the room. Arsenal and Manchester City.
You know, I'm just so surprised by Arsenal, man. Like, I honestly thought that there is no way they can throw this away. Like, I really thought that people were saying, oh, this is one of the best teams ever in the history of the Premier League, right? Those are mostly Arsenal fans. We know how they can exaggerate. Sorry, Arsenal fans. But yeah, this is what happened, right? I actually had faith. And I can imagine how devastated the Arsenal fans are, right?
Yeah, can you imagine? But we do
If
have
there's
episode
any
2
other fans that are used to this behavior or
would be Arsenal
call
fans.
it abuse, it's the Arsenal fans. They
Ye-
should be like resilient by now.
You know, I don't I don't want to do this, but I can, and we should. We can go back to episode 2, and I had a conversation with AJ about that. I think maybe that's the reason why he's not here tonight, because he
I
spoke
think
with
so
his
too.
chest. He
Mm.
spoke with his chest, and I spoke about him bottling, and I said it with a bit of finesse and French champagne. You know, I was popping that cork, and I was being polite. And it seems like the apple does not fall far from an Arsenal seat, right?
And did you guys see on the Arsenal game the week before where the guy was drinking an Arsenal water
The bottle, yeah.
and water bottle, and people were making fun and saying that's Arsenal tears. And because of that, it's been taking the world by storm. It's viral now. Yeah,
Beautiful.
let's come to that time where they have to start drinking their own tears, and I see Arteta's in on it as well with drinking water with Arsenal label on it. Shame. They've come a long way. They put in a good fight, I must say. I don't think that it's going to end well for them. Man City is not one to easily just fall, and so we look forward to quite a interesting, very sad, and on the other end, happy end to some, or for some, to the end of the league. Man United can still win it if all the other teams don't do well.
Okay.
No,
now
Man
Let
United
me
cannot
throw
win.
that
They're
in there.
like, aren't they like,
statistically,
Yeah, statistically,
Statistically, mathematically,
they're like, what are they, like 9 points back? They're on 58, right? And City's like on 67, something like that, right? So City would have to
Yeah.
lose 3 games in a row in the last four games, something like that. Yeah, that happened.
but if that ever has to happen, guys, it would be a historical moment. It would be a historical moment, which will never happen. It will be entertaining. It would put the Premier League back on top of drama, But you gotta give Pep Guardiola some credit. That guy's longevity, and you can say what you want about it. He is, we all mocked him at the beginning, but he only joins this club, that club. Fair enough. You choose your poison when you have the ability of choice. But he's now the one keeping the Premier League alive, right? It's people like him that makes the league a bit more tough and consistent, because we're losing our glow slowly, right? And you have to give this guy credit. Just when you think he's falling asleep, it's just because he's resting, because tomorrow he's got a plan up his sleeve. And well done.
But
Yeah,
don't you
good on
think
him.
that with Pep Guardiola being there for how many years has he been there? Almost 10?
10
10,
yeah.
right? And he's only got 1 Champions League, considering all he's spent, all the players he's had. You don't think that's a bit of a failure?
I don't know if Klein wants to go first on that point, but I think it's not always about the Champions League. It's a tough league, right? It's coming from a supporter of a team that is known for taking that league, and commend Real Madrid. Well done. There's no one else on the planet that does it the way they do. It's a very tough question to ask for everyone that's fighting to get that title. You go back in history, we're talking now about 50 years, 60 years more. I stand corrected. Maybe 60 or 70 years you go back before you see consecutive back-to-back winning of the Champions League. It hasn't been done after that. When it's just an impossible task. And Real Madrid has been in control of the Champions League for such a long time. And to ask Pep Guardiola to do that when no other manager has really sustainably done that, it's a tall order.
But I also then beg to ask the question with regards to the amount of money Real Madrid spend, and they not chowing up the Spanish league.
So contrary to popular belief, Madrid doesn't spend a lot of money anymore. They only now their focus is like buying young players and developing them and then selling them for profit. It's more like a business, I would say. But yes, I would agree. We
And
do
I
not
also
focus
say-
on the La Liga.
Yeah, I also say that Real Madrid is the only club in the world that's owned by the Spanish government. So that
That-
in its own gives us an
Isn't
opportunity
Barcelona
to.
subsidized by the government as well?
No, not that I know of. The
Well,
Catalunias, I think that's a community club. I think that it's run by the community of the
well, we
Catalunya.
have to get our facts straight on that.
Yeah, we
But
have to. But we're jumping off topic. Let me quickly give you some insight to the Premier League. And this is probably a little bit more shameful that Arsenal hasn't run away yet. And everybody's complimenting on their style of football. So I will throw one in the I'll pull out a rabbit out of the hat here. So Blackburn Rovers was the last team to win the Premier League 94-95 season, where they lost 7 times. And at the moment, Man City and Arsenal are on 7 losses.
what are we getting at there? Elaborate.
What I'm trying to say is they didn't run away with this league and they didn't outperform the next team that's behind them anyway. This is probably the most pathetic league to have won. If any other season, this could have been anybody's league. Chelsea, Man United. And most times, the Premier League winners end up close to 100 points. This time round, I think they will fall quite short. So it's been quite an interesting league, to say the least. And in that case, I don't think Arsenal can say that this was their league. They underperformed.
Definitely, I agree with you. I mean, you made a very valid point when it comes to close to 100 points. And we've seen that the running away of the league happens in those periods. There was 1 or 2 years where it was City and Liverpool. They were quite close, but Liverpool was just really, really on top of their game. Sorry, City was on top of their game. I stand corrected. And another note to that as well, if you look at the bad season of the Premier League, is always the time, besides when was the year with Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, and I think Manchester United was the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. But it's always in the time where the points are that low that a Premier League team wins the Champions League. So it might be Arsenal's, yeah.
Yeah. And just to bring back that fact, you're right, Devon. So the ownership model of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico, and Osasuna,
Asasuna,
it is
that's right.
not a limited sports company. It's a fan-based institution. Viewers, be the first to hear that. Be the first to hear that. We are moving in the direction where we're growing and advancing, and perhaps in the future, we have AI join us for our conversation and on our show. And then you guys can engage as well. So think up all the questions you'd like to ask us. We would have AI joining us perhaps in the future. Interesting times ahead, people. Look out.
Nice. But that's well done there. We'll definitely keep it in the loop. It will be an amazing thing, an amazing feat. But we're gonna have to wait for the wizard Hein to actually concoct up a nice spell with these magic potions and
That would be
you
so
got
cool.
something. You got something there. But
Yeah.
on that point, let's not digress from these Arsenal people and bottling. I do have to say, everything aside, Mikel Arteta is a brilliant manager. And bottling started way before he arrived. Matter of fact, he was part of the bottling association when it was found. And I will tell you that in one of the FIFAs back in the day, I think it's FIFA 13, when you went to forfeit a match, you would have Art Hector holding his face, and he would do that. So if you played FIFA and you were about to forfeit a match, he would stand like this, and that's a fact.
Yeah, wouldn't Man City fans argue the fact that he came out of Pep Guardiola's hands as well?
True story, true story. But Pep is clearly showing the student who is the master day in, day out. When Pep Guardiola leaves, and everyone knows that, Mikel Art Hector will start winning. And now the problem is Pep Guardiola knows that too, and he knows his time is coming, and he needs to jump ship because he's an intelligent man. He makes good decisions. He puts it under I am lucky. No, he's calculated. He didn't get this far out of luck. Everything was calculated. And he knows Art Hector's not going to stay at that level. And that's a fact.
So
Yeah.
if you're an Arsenal fan now, right? Or let's say you Arsenal as the club, like you've had now all these seasons where you're just falling short. You have a manager who's good. You have a good team, right? Like, what do you change to just, for that last little bit to just get it over the hill? Like, if I was there, I wouldn't know what to change. What do you think?
I wish I could answer that for you, but at the moment, things look very bleak. Man City went on top yesterday with their win, with their game in hand.
Yep.
And at the moment, they're on equal points with goal difference. If Arsenal were to win this league as it is, and both teams win all their games, Arsenal would have to win with consecutive of 3 goals. That tops Man City's 3 goals that they have now in their advantage. So at the moment, to speak about what motivation must go into the team talks, well, go and grab it. That's what I would say. Go and grab it. It's right in front of you. I think it's up to the players now, if they want it bad enough.
I wouldn't personally change anything. I will allow it to run its course. It's an identity that needs to be injected into people that have never felt it before. It's a stage that they've been speaking about, but they've never experienced. It's a club they've entered where the best of their history was on a video of the past. So you put these young boys on the stage of something they've never experienced, and eventually all the losses will turn into a win. They have a beautiful team, amazing manager. It just needs time. And what the Arsenal board is doing that the others don't is they have patience, and they believe that the man that they have will get the job done. And it's not about who laughs now. They're all about who has the last laugh. And I think Arsenal is going to get there, and we can enjoy the banter. We can enjoy everything. But I think you can quote me on that. In the next couple of years, it will be Arsenal's game. When Pep steps out, mark my words, it's going to be Arsenal's reign. Everyone else is messing up. Liverpool, they're losing. Chelsea, what's Chelsea doing? There's no one else that can keep up with Arsenal. Man City, they need to get someone else in. Are they going to get Mourinho? Who are they going to get? Fabregas? Possibly. But think about it. It's their game from next year or the next 3 years. It's their game.
I was going to say something now about Arsenal, right? Do you think that maybe they need a little bit more depth in their team? Because I mean, playing the same team for 70 games in the season, right, with little change, right? They don't have a lot of depth. It's Declan's going to be in the midfield. Nobody's there to take on the smaller teams or someone else. The two centre backs, the same centre backs, right? Saka, who's there if Saka is not there? So do you think that maybe they need a little bit more depth to go that extra mile
I
just to
agree.
get to that?
100%. And as they failed now to the end, it's because their main guy got injured, Odegaard. But this has also been the excuse for many, many years.
Speaking of injuries, just to digress a little bit, right? Since it's so recent. So Lamine Yamal actually got injured yesterday. He pulled his hamstring. So
Oh,
he's
yeah.
definitely out for the rest of the season. They say he might miss some of the World Cup, but it's not confirmed, right? So now I'm thinking, what do you guys think about playing? Okay, he's a phenomenal talent, right? But playing an 18-year-old for like 90 minutes all the time, so many games in a row, he's bound to burn out. And now he's injured, and they have a risky last part of the season because they struggle without him. We saw this the last time he got injured.
I guess if you're basing it on facts of today's football, that it is faster, it is harder, and it's more often, you make a valid point. But if you're just asking the question on an 18-year-old, what happened to Henry? What happened to Wayne Rooney? What happened to everyone else? Cristiano Ronaldo. What happened to everyone else that played? John Terry, Lampard, all of them. Everyone from the 2000s played hard. Matter of fact, there would be some teams that are playing the same team and won close to trebles, and it was a harder game. Yes, but I do mention the fact that the game now is more pacier. But I think they were much more of a footballer back then, and it was go through the pain. They were there. They played amazing football. Because when we look for references, where do we jump to? We jump to the past, and they played solid games, 70 games. Look at Juan Mata before he went to Manchester United. Played 72 games without stop, 90 minutes every game. Masterclass. So there is a fact of managing yourself. These boys want to go and do everything else in life and go play football and go to this and go to that. I think if it's you make a dedication, and I'm not saying you're a machine, but if you make a dedication and you say, look, this is what our structure looks like for the next 3 years. After that, you can make your own decision. But we focus on football. It's your life. In the summer break, you can stop and enjoy yourself. But right now, this is your curriculum. This is what you follow. And try to keep yourself fit and not do extras. Yes, that goes easier said than done. But there's some gravity to that question and that statement.
Yeah, you
No.
make a point. I was to say very shortly, it separates the best from the rest. If you look at all the icons, you can't remember a long time when they were injured. And that goes for the way they recovered, I think, and how they managed their talent and the hard work. Because if you look at Ballon d'Or guys, you can't remember a time when they were out of football. And I think as a footballer, even in the professional setting, players want to play. I've said this in the last podcast, in a previous episode. Players want to play. This is their life. I don't think that they look forward to being injured, or if the coach says you can't play, are they happy with that?
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree to a certain extent, right? Like Ronaldo, when he joined United, he was 18, right? And he played not a lot of minutes in that first 2 seasons. But like now they are playing like matches every 3 days, right? And to play 90 minutes every 3 days, like Yamal is playing 90 minutes against, a small team that Barcelona is expected to win. In a case like that, why can't you put him on after 60 minutes if you're still behind, or if you didn't get the goal yet? Why are you playing him every 3 days for 90 minutes? Like, I think that
100%
leads to a
understand, Hein,
problem.
yeah. You
Like,
know
if
what?
you have-
At the end of the day, it's business, my friend. It's business. And Lamar don't show up on the game. Fans don't. They're not happy. The internet's not happy. Barcelona make no money. And so if I look at it like that, from Ronaldo's point of view, people didn't care what he came to do at United. Ronaldo made his money back within 3 days after being at United. Pogba the same. So they weren't buying players at United at that time to keep the club successful, or the football at least. It was all about business. And in that, I think certain decisions, me and Nevan was speaking about it earlier. What's happening behind closed doors, it's very hard to tell. And sometimes it does show up on the pitch if you look at Chelsea. Maybe there is a managerial structure flop somewhere along the line. And you can't say that it doesn't overlap into the player's performance.
Definitely, you do make a valid point. But I think as supporters, we do tend to blame the players way more because we put a price tag, we hang a price tag above their heads saying, you are professional. You play the game of football. Why are you making those mistakes? Why are you not following the manager's idea of football? It could be many things, and you have to take for a moment and use your imagination. When you go into work, there are days you didn't enjoy it, that you don't like being at work, but at the end of the month, you do get paid. And I mean, you could say many things. Today, I feel like this, and tomorrow, I feel better. Maybe they are human too. Maybe they have bad days at work. Maybe they do not understand the structure being laid out to them. Maybe the reason they play for a certain club like Chelsea, that the reason they got there was because they played their way. And the reason Chelsea bought them was because of the way they played. And now a new manager comes in and he shuffles these instructions and puts you into a position or a system that does not correspond to the reason the club bought you in the first place. So you will throw out your toys at the cart because now you're affecting his career. And after you've used me and you're not happy with my performance, you throw me to the curb. So it's my right as a player to defend myself and say, this is not why you brought me here. I believe this is the way I should be playing because this is the reason you bought me for those attributes. So everyone else is out there. Secondly to that is they have a mental game. It's not old football. There was no Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube back then when the legends of old played. Now, unfortunately, we live in that world, and they have to pay close attention to their image because once 100 million people hate you for the wrong reason, it affects your mental game. And you have to go back to work and perform. So they look out for all of those aspects as well as a professional footballer and an example and inspiration to others watching them. They have to say, halt, stop. This is not what we're doing because after you've done and made your mistakes and your adjustments, I still have to live with the fact that 100 million people is calling me, booing me, and threatening me because I did not play the football I did before. So somewhere, somebody has to take accountability, whether it is mostly, in my opinion, would be the direction of any club, is because they need to make sure that what they're focusing on is not just profits and money, like Klein mentioned before, is that they have living people, not machines, but living people playing the sport of football that we watch and love. And we have to consider all of those. And somewhere along the line, they've made a mistake and they have to man up and fix it.
I understand and I hear you. It brings up the topic about Garnacho. So you say, okay, I hear you. We have to respect the fact that these are human beings. But someone like Alejandro Garnacho, for instance, did he not dig his own grave? Because the internet and people are coming out for him now. All the United fans, they never greeted him. They ignored him after the Chelsea match. Apparently, he's also making trouble at the Chelsea club right now with his attitude towards the game. And apparently deleted all his posts of Chelsea before the Man United game and almost encouraged or enticed his comeback, which I think United want to hear nothing of. So in that case, your behavior towards the game. Don't you sometimes dig your own grave? But to tie all of that up
We have to
before we
address
move
that,
on,
Klein.
yeah, okay. As you end your comment, please let me know from the odds point of view, right? To never than nine, who do you think is gonna win the league?
Okay,
So
so
after you answer your point, I'll leave you with that.
before I jump over to the ending of the Premier League, you make a statement, and it has to be a valid point, right? This guy he's been going everywhere, throwing his toys at the cot, and he stands for what he believes, whether United or Chelsea likes it. But then he's like that old boyfriend that you always take back when he says he's not going to be cheeky, right? Fair enough. Call me a fool one time, and then I might forgive you. Call me a fool the second time, and call me a horse, and I might wear a saddle. But the point is that Chelsea knew, so I blame the board. And secondly, we saw him do it there, and yet we still invited him to come over. And thirdly, I mean, think about it. People like Lukaku being praised to be brilliant, but there's many clubs that spent over 200 million on this guy, and it has gotten them absolutely nowhere. He's not the first Garnacho. The first Garnacho is Lukaku, because he was at Everton, Wigan. He's been at Chelsea. He's been all over the place, and yet no one says anything about his football because he's not throwing his toys out of the cot. He's a silent killer, right? But the same job is being done. It's just that he's intelligent enough that, you know what, I'm not going to say anything. I'm a shit footballer. But this guy does diversion on the next level. And I like him for that. I like him for that. On the topic of the Premier League winners, I think I will go to Hein first because in case I make a incorrect judgment. Go for it,
Okay.
Hein.
The fire's on, boys.
So predictions of who's gonna win the league?
The English Premier League, yeah.
No, my money's on City now. Like after the last couple of games with Arsenal, City now in pole position. Like City's been here before. They know how to get over the line. I remember there was the one season where they were pretty far behind, I think 9 points or something, and they won 18 games in a row to win the league. I think that was with Liverpool, right? That season with Liverpool. And they won 18 games in a row. So yeah, my money's on City. They know how to
Guys,
do it. They've been
viewers,
there before.
look into Hein's eyes if you guys want to make a bet. Is he the one to trust?
You know what? Hein is right every day and twice on Sunday. But because of that, I think it's the exit of Pep Guardiola. He's very close. One mistake, one slip, and Arsenal is back on top. And that can happen to anyone, and even to the bottlers. So I think it might be Arsenal taking it. Last day, second last day, definitely maybe on the last day, I think it might be Arsenal win. The reality has to set in. They will banter, they will shout, they will scream, and that's what they do, and they deserve it. They should win the Premier League, and I would want another team to win besides City. And I'm sure every Manchester United fan would want another team to win besides City as well. So pick up to the Premier League. Well done to Arsenal. This is my predetermined judgment and forecast that they will win the league. Hector will lift the Premier League trophy, and I think they're the fittest team for it, and their new generation and their new era has started. We in for a bumpy ride.
Okay, awesome answer. I think there, viewers, we are divided. Look into Nevin's eyes and see if you guys trust him with a bet. I think that Orlando Pirates is going to win.
Orlando Pirates. They have a better chance of winning.
At the moment, I feel that because AJ is my brother and it's been a long time coming, I also think that the class of 2002 and 2003 deserves this from me, that Arsenal must take it. I hope so.
Yeah. And
And
that's
then-
coming my part. Sorry, Hein, to interrupt you.
Go,
I'm a
go.
Chelsea supporter. I hate Arsenal. But
Yeah, yeah. I
where,
can
lo-
imagine.
where logic is shown, I have to give it to them.
But don't forget that Arsenal still has to play Champions League and they got to face off against Atletico Madrid. So that's another
Okay.
factor that's against Arsenal. Where City just
I
has to worry
also-
about the league.
To contrary belief, I think that Man City has a bit of a harder run to the end of the title race.
And
We
that
have to
could play in
check
the
our
favor.
facts there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that could play into the beautiful position for Arsenal to take it. But you know what? That could be true, Klein, and that could be on paper. But because of where it is being played, it takes you back to the time that Alex Ferguson's last game when Lukaku played for Brighton, I believe. They played for Brighton, and he scored a hat trick against United and made a beautiful comeback for the last game to be United 5 and Brighton 5. So what I'm trying to get to at that is that anything can happen.
Yeah.
You could go to a game of football where you're winning in the first half and you could be drawing at the end of it, you know. So it could be an amazing last day of
I
89
think it
minutes.
should go to the last day. That would be so
Yeah.
cool.
It could be an
like
amazing
Aguero
game
broke
of
United's heart. Remember that one goal he scored?
yeah,
Woo!
that's exactly
That's
where
how,
it is. Like
yeah.
it could be an amazing 89 minutes
That would be
and
nice,
then
yeah.
all of a sudden you get to the last end of it and it's snatched away in extra time. So yeah, anything can happen.
It would be cool if it went to the end, right to the last day.
Definitely.
I think Arsenal might actually just fall out this weekend. They have Newcastle this weekend.
Well, what's
that?
Newcastle fighting for?
Yeah, but
I
what
think Newcastle was the Champions League playing team this past season, isn't it?
actually
what-
let's see when Newcastle is on the
I think they
loud.
play Champions League. They got kicked out in the knockouts, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. But we need to weigh so many factors in this Newcastle team. What's been happening every 3 games with them, and it also depends on where they're playing, home or away. These are many factors. I mean, Newcastle is one of those teams that they can give you an amazing show day to day, and all of a sudden, for no reason, when you want them to turn up, they don't. So they what we used to call back in South Africa a draadsitter. Jy slaag net met jou gatvel op die fucking draad, meneer, you know? And they're not one of those teams that take down giants on the last day. If you had a Southampton, a West Ham, a Wigan, someone like that at the last day, even a QPR, you know, come at last day looking for a result. That's who I'll bet on. But Newcastle on the last day, they're a team you beat, in my opinion. They're a team you beat at the end of the season. They're a team you win at the first game of any new season. But that's just my opinion.
Let me not put the Magpies down completely. They definitely not a walkover either.
Yeah, but they've been really poor this season, but they have that in them to beat Arsenal on a good day. But the problem is they'll be playing at the Emirates, so I doubt it.
Yeah.
But both teams still have Crystal Palace, I think, in the last couple of games.
Hey, this is the time where the lower teams start to break legs, boys. They start to
That
break legs. They
is
are coming
true.
out to
I
hurt the boys
will
on top.
agree with you always,
That
but
is
yeah.
true.
but there's one team. You know what? That I won't mind playing them on the last day, and not because I hate them so much, but it's Tottenham. They are shit right now, man. They're just as bad as us. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to play them and be the reason they don't get relegated. You know, so I would rather want them to play anyone else and lose. What a feat that would be if Tottenham Hotspurs gets relegated, and it's their own doing. You know, there's
That's what I
another.
just wanted to say. We should have an episode just on the lower 3 because it's quite a battle going on down there. And yeah,
Yeah.
that would be shameful for Tottenham and for London. Come on, whoa! No one saw that coming.
Even the Wolves, how far they've fallen, man. They were like competing almost for Champions League spots a couple of seasons back. And
Yeah,
then
but
now they will be relegated.
Yeah, but that happens with those teams. The only odd one out is not even West Ham. The odd one out is Tottenham because since the Barclays, it's been a while now. They've always made sure they stayed above, and then you'd have teams like Crystal Palace, Leeds, Sunderland, Everton, Brentford that are just always fighting for survival. And it's nice to see that one of the big six. We'll get back to the big six that's might get relegated, and it's a beautiful sight, not because I'm a Chelsea supporter, but for football, and Wolves, same thing. One season in, 7 seasons out, then 7 seasons in, 1 season out. It's the same circle for everyone.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Arsenal's been in the league the longest without being relegated, right
No,
next to Everton. Yeah, no, I did
Everton.
my fact check. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it is
Everton is the
Arsenal.
only team.
Arsenal
Everton is
first.
Yeah, but
Arsenal
Everton
first.
has never ever been relegated.
In the new
in
Premier
any-
League, yeah.
No, I believe ever. I can't remember. I don't know if it's sure, but if memory serves me correct, I think Everton is the only team in the Premier League that has never ever been relegated in any league. I'm not sure. Hein, can you bring that up
Arsenal.
first?
They have been relegated twice, but long time ago. They were relegated in 1929 and then again in 1950. So they haven't been relegated for like 70 years, 75.
And who is the team that got relegated the least?
I'm almost pretty sure that Arsenal is the team that's been in the new Premier League the longest without being relegated. I think Everton was second when I did my fact check a few months ago.
The 6 clubs have never been relegated. Arsenal, Chelsea, Everton, Liverpool, and Manchester United. This is since 1992, since the
Yeah.
Premier League was
The
founded.
conception, yeah.
The new Premier League, as you say.
Yeah.
That's not bad, eh? I mean,
Yeah,
16,
but-
14 teams that come and gone.
True story.
More
But
than
are we
half.
talking about Barclays or just the Division
English
One?
Premier League, yeah. Since
Because
1990.
it was Division One first for many years, and then it became Barclays, if I'm correct. And after Barclays, it became the Premier League, and now it's still the Premier League or the English Premier League. I don't know if the name has changed, but after Barclays, it's the league we know as it is today.